Hi everyone, it's Gina, and I wanted to share with you some artist trading cards. Here's the first one. Has a little door that opens. Here's the second one. And the third one. So today I thought we would make an artist trading card tunnel book. So I'm going to be using scraps from Life is Abundant. I also am going to be using some of the ephemera from Life is Abundant and tags and frames. You're also going to need some playing cards. They're usually all the same size, which is 2.5 by 3.5. You're going to need 6 cards. And then I took an extra card and I made a little template. I cut a little door in mine. I cut my square at 2 3/4 by 1 7/8. Then you're going to need to cut 13 pieces of pattern paper at 2.5 by 3.5. And then on your cards, you're going to want to use, I used metal cutting dies to cut my circles. You can trace something, just make sure you keep them lined up. Then you're also going to need 6 hinges. These are 1 inch by 3.5, and I scored at 1/2 inch. You don't have to use this, but a little clear piece of acetate or transparency. And I cut mine at 2 1/8 by 3 inches. And then you're going to need a piece of chipboard. I'm using Graphic 45 black chipboard. So to start with, you want to grab your hinges. You want to slightly miter the corners. You want to take one of your playing cards that you have not cut anything into. You want to put glue on your hinge on just one of the flaps. You want to center it on the spine to the edge. So then you're going to take one of your pieces of pattern paper, 2.5 by 3.5. Put glue on the back. You want to put it on the side you glued your hinge to. Centering it. So it should look like that with the hinge on this side, covered with pattern paper. So then I'm going to grab that template I made, line it up. And I'm going to trace I'm going to trace all 4 sides of the square. Then I'm going to cut that out. So now it looks like that. Now you want to grab another piece of pattern paper. You want to line up your template on top of it. Now you only want to trace 3 sides of the square. You want to cut along those lines. Then you want to score in between the 2 cut lines where you did not cut. So now you have a little door that opens. Erase any pencil marks. So you want to glue this on to the top of your card. So your first piece should look like that. So you're just going to keep layering your pieces, putting a hinge in between. So where this hinge is showing through the circle, I just grab my X-Acto knife and I trim it. So now it looks like that. Then you want to glue your pattern papers to it. So it looks like that now, all covered. You want to make sure you cut the excess out of each little circle window. All right, so your hinge looks like that. Now you want to take your first card we did with the biggest hole, and you want to ink around it. On both sides. All right, so now you want to add glue to the first hinge you glued on. You want to center it over your second hole card. So it looks like that. So then you want to glue your pattern paper on right over that hinge. Making sure you don't get any on your score line. So now it looks like that. For the back of it, you want to glue down your other piece of pattern paper. So then you want to ink that one. On both sides. So now you're going to grab your third one. And another hinge. Gonna cut off the excess. So I'm gonna glue the back one on right over the hinge. So now I'm going to take my little book I've started, and I'm going to put glue on this hinge. You can also use score tape. And I'm going to add it right on top, centering. And I'm going to glue this one right on top. And you want to ink that one. Now I got some of our little windows. Grab another one. Grab a hinge. Glue my hinge on. So now we got our book again. We're going to put glue on this hinge. You want to glue it right on top of the last one you made. And glue your pattern paper on. So it's starting to look like that. You want to go in and ink this one. So now for our last little tunnel hole. So we're going to grab our book again, put glue on the hinge. Then you want to go in and ink this one also. So now our book has all our holes in. Now you don't have to glue it to a piece of chipboard, but I like to just to keep it real sturdy. So what you're going to do is put glue on this hinge, then ink around your last piece of paper, pattern paper. I just line it up, and then I glue my hinge down. Then I put glue on the back of it. Then you want to glue it to your chipboard. And burnish down real good. So that is the start of our tunnel book. Alright, so this one I forgot to glue this down before I glued the top pattern piece on my circle. So we're just going to line it up, trace where we do not want the hinge to show through. Then we're going to trim it. Then we want to put glue on these hinges. And glue it down. And just go back and ink wherever you may have missed. So then I'm going to take some textured paste and I'm just going to go around all the edges, just on the cover. Okay, so our paint's dry. So now we're ready for the fun part, which is decorating. So you want to grab your scraps and you want to start looking through whatever images you have and fussy cutting them out. I have already cut some out. I made this little container and then I made some little envelopes and put labels on them. And that way it's easy to kind of find whatever I'm looking for little ephemera. Owls. I do have a tutorial on my YouTube channel of how to make one of these. And I have lots of bugs I've cut. Now that you have a bunch of fussy cut items you think you're going to use in your tunnel book, you want to start gluing them in. Okay, now I'm going to kind of start flipping through and placing things, just not doing whole pages at once. And I'm going to grab that piece of acetate and some score tape. Then I'm going to add my transparency. So then I cut these words from the paper collection. Now I'm going to add this little mushroom. I stuck it onto the double-sided tape. Now I'm going to add my little word strip frame. now we need to finish the door. So I have this piece of ephemera. I'm just going to score it across the moon. So I'm going to put it about right there. Then I'm going to glue this to the inside of the door. I did trim it down some. And I'm going to put this mushroom on the front of it. I enjoy making artist trading cards and using them in projects. So I made this to go on the front of a mini album I'm working on. It's still work in progress. And then I made this artist trading card for this page. I will have a tutorial on my YouTube for some others like this. So you'll have to come back and see if I add anything else to my little tunnel book and look at my finished mini album. Thanks for joining me today.